My company has made over $800,000 online. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through from literal zero and how we've made the money we've made online so far, literally from zero to $800,000 online. So that if you're just on your journey, you're starting from scratch and so on and so forth, you can literally take all of these lessons, implement it for yourself, and get some really amazing results and make a decent amount of money from your online business. So the first thing that I did when we started out is having a done for you service. And initially I picked one service, and that was copywriting. And the reason why starting with a done for you service, in my opinion, is the absolute best thing you can do is because first, it requires zero money to start, which means you don't need any startup capital to start this. Second thing is it requires zero credibility. Like, no one has to believe in you for you to make money with this. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. You don't need to be famous. You don't need to have a massive audience. You don't need anything like that. You could literally start from zero, like zero knowledge, zero skills, zero money. The only thing you have is just time that you know you can spend into learning the skill, because learning the skill is going to be extremely important. If the only thing you have is just the time you have to learn the skill, this is the absolute best place to start. And this is how I started too as well. So I literally started from copywriting as a skill, and then I didn't have any money. I didn't have any credibility. I was literally still getting allowance from my dad. I was still in uni, and I was able to still start this up and sign up some clients and make some money. That's the first thing. So once you learn the skill itself, or not when you're perfectly good at the skill, to be fair, when you at least have an understanding of how it works, you understand all the skill, like language. So if it's copywriting, for example, you know what copy means, you know, like what PAS means, you know what all these simple framework means. You've read all the common copywriting books, you've written a couple of copy for yourself and for other people's products and stuff like that. You have at least an understanding of how it works. The next thing you ideally want to do after that point is to start trying to sign a client. So when I was trying to sign a client, I tried cold DMs, I tried cold email, I tried a lot of things to try and sign clients. I tried job boards on Facebook. I emailed literally every big copywriter you can find to try and get them to actually give me work and pay me for that work. The thing that ended up working, and is what I would literally recommend for anyone who is starting from scratch, is using a platform like Upwork, where people are coming to the platform requesting for jobs. Because the thing with cold DM and cold email is you don't know if the person is looking for that thing right now. So you're just throwing like a shot in the dark, literally, to try and see if you can get that person to convert or if they will be interested. And when you're starting out, you don't also have the skill set to do enough volume to see some truly substantial results with cold DM or cold email, because you don't just have the skill sets to put the infrastructure together in place to see enough volume. Like last year, for example, there was a point in time where we were sending about 300 plus cold emails every single day. And the only reason we're able to do that is because we have the skills and the infrastructure to build that system. We had a bunch of VAs, we had a bunch of email accounts that we're using to send these cold emails and so on and so forth. And the reason we had all of these things in place, again, is because we had gotten to a point where we could use those skills to get that result. But if you're starting from scratch, you don't have that benefit. You don't have that leverage. You just can't rely on cold DM or cold email to sign that first ever client just because of that reason alone. So you want to use something like Upwork. I don't recommend Fiverr. I recommend Upwork even till now. Right now, it's even much better because you need some money to buy credits and stuff like that. It's not a lot of money. You could borrow, you could work at McDonald's or anything. You could literally do anything you want to get the money you need to buy credits so that you can start applying for jobs. Now, there's the caveat to this. So you don't want to do jobs or apply for jobs that are now going to straight to the clients, because again, you don't have any credibility, you don't have any authority, no one like knows who you are, no one trusts you, you don't have any background whatsoever. So what we found that got me really good results with this and literally landed me my first job was applying for a job that it was another agency that was hiring for that role. And this is really perfect because you do need to be able to convince them that you can do the job. Even when you get on the job, if the agency is really good, they will have SOPs and stuff to give you. And you just really work very, very hard in the first couple of months just to make sure you're up to speed you're going to find success with that. And you don't need to be the one client facing, meaning that you don't even need to speak to any of the clients at all. And all of these like limiting beliefs that you have about like your accent and all of these things won't really matter just because you're not even client facing. So this is one of the ones that really worked for me. I used the system and I landed a role. My first role was about $200 per month, and working with that agency, we're able to scale up to $700 a month working with that agency. And then my business partner right now literally used that to land a role for $2,000. That same system where we are basically new, although at that point, to be fair, he already had some experience at that point, and that reflected in his application. But if you're starting from literal scratch, just apply for jobs that other agencies are posting and then work with an agency in-house, at least for the first couple of years/months. That's what got me results, and that's what I recommend for anyone. Plus, you might not get the best agency in the world. You might literally get an agency that is only making about $10,000 a month or $15,000 a month, or nothing too crazy. But even if they are not the best agency in the world, that would at least get your foot in the door. And even if they are paying you like $200, $300 in the starting stage, then you're literally good, at least for starters, for your first ever job. Literally, that's fair. That's more than fair. That's way more than fair in my opinion. So while that was happening, I started posting on Twitter. It was called Twitter at the time, but now it's X. And I started trying to send cold emails to sign clients for myself. So that's another thing that you can do as well. While you're working with the agency, I'm sure you would have some spare time, right? You can use that spare time to try and build your own agency on the side. Not everybody wants this path, to be fair. I'm just a knucklehead and I really wanted my own stuff. So I didn't even take time before I started trying to find my own clients. But some people are happy with working in an agency. I love my team to death, and we have people that have been working with us for a very, very long time, and they've seen room to grow within the company. So if you see room to actually grow within the company and there's room for you to improve, you have like a good compensation structure, you don't need to even leave. You could just keep working with the same company and keep growing within that team. But I'm just different, and that's completely fine. So you need to start building your own agency on the side, and that was basically what I started doing. And I started trying to find clients. Now, I sent cold emails, me and my partner, for about 9 months, and we didn't sign any clients from that. Just because, like I said, with cold email, it's just so hard to really crack it if you're not doing enough volume. And when you're starting out, you don't have the right infrastructure to do the right volume. It's that simple. So if you can crack the volume very early on and you have like the money to fund it and stuff, then it might work really well for you. But a lot of things can go wrong. Like your email accounts can get banned. Your deliverability can go to shit. You need to hire people. They might not do the work to the standard that you want to do it to. It's just a nightmare. We did that for 9 months. We signed one client and she dropped us in like 2 weeks for an insane reason. That's a different story for another day. And that was basically it, to be fair. About 9 months of sending cold emails. Now, at that time, we're sending about maybe 20 emails a day or so. And that's just so small. Like looking back, that's why it took us so long to sign any clients, because we're not just doing enough volume at the time. So posting on Twitter, just posting our client results, basically the results I was getting from the clients I was working with within the agency. Now, to be fair, I wasn't doing like one small piece of the puzzle, right? Let's say for ads, for example, I wasn't writing the ad copy alone. I was basically in charge of the client's entire email marketing system. I was one writing the copy, doing the deliverability, uploading the emails, designing the emails, literally every single thing. I was in charge of it. So I had a bit more confidence in myself to actually say, oh, I was the one that did all these things. And I just started sharing like value on Twitter. And it took about 1 year, right? But there was no pressure for me to actually make this work, especially the content side of things. And then even for the cold email, there was pressure to make that work for sure. But if it wasn't working, then we're just going to keep sending the emails regardless. Like we didn't have a choice, right? So in about 1 year, I had like someone just DM me randomly on Twitter and say he wanted us to work together. And it was an e-com brand at the time. And we managed their emails for them and some of their ads so as well. And that was the first actual client I signed for e-com. And that worked really, really well, to be fair, because we made a bunch of money from working with that client. And we had to stop working together after a while because I was switching from e-commerce to info. And there's no really reason, I can't really think of a good reason why we decided to switch. We just wanted to sign clients. And we took a program at the time that encouraged us to do info instead of e-com. And we just went with it, to be fair. So now when we went from e-commerce to info products and working with coaching businesses, the thing that worked for me at the time to get the clients that we signed was very simple. And it's a very crazy process that I wish I still do to this day. And if not, like if I just kept on doing that thing over and over again, I didn't get distracted by any shiny object syndrome or anything like that, we would have signed way more clients than we have right now, to be fair. I didn't know what I was doing at the time, to be fair. So looking back on this is what I did, and this is why it worked. So I chose one funnel type. I didn't even choose a funnel type on purpose, but it was webinar funnels at the time. And then I tried to find people who were really crushing it with webinar funnels. And I basically went through their entire webinar process. I signed up for the webinars. I watched their webinars. I saw the emails they were sending on the back end. I literally funnel hacked the life out of these guys that were running webinar funnels at the time. And I went to find other coaches who are also running webinar funnels. And then I sent like personalized looms to them, trying to show them that, oh, you're running a webinar funnel. This person is also doing the same thing. They have all these other things in place and you don't have those things. If you want us to implement them for you, respond back to this video. And that was how we signed our first client, literally. And what we did was I sent them a compliment first in the email. I just sent a random compliment about their content. And I eventually got to a point where I found a way to write the compliments in a way where I could use the same compliment for every single person and they won't know. So I sent the compliments to them. When they respond back to that compliment, then I now tell them that, oh, I have this thing that can help you. Do you mind if I send a video to you? When they now respond that they want the video, that's when I now just send them the video. And in the video, that's what I basically break down for them that, oh, look at all these guys that are also running webinar funnels. They are making this much money. This is what they are doing. I show them all of that in the video. And then I now tell them, oh, but you are not doing these things and these are best practices. You're losing money by not doing these things. If you want us to implement these things for you, respond back and then we can hop on a call. And that's how I booked my first couple of calls, signed my first couple of clients from doing this. And it just works so well. And the mistake a lot of people make is, let's say you do webinar funnels, for example, and then you're trying to pitch someone that is doing a VSL funnel right now. You first have to convince them that webinars are better than VSLs before you now convince them that, oh, you can now be the one to help them with their VSLs or their webinars rather. But if you go and meet someone who is in the webinar funnel already, and you try to help them fix one small section of their webinar to just squeeze more revenue from that, they're more likely to listen to you and you can get your foot in the door way faster than you trying to help somebody switch from this to that or from that to this. Like I said, I wish I had stuck with this for longer than I did because it would have signed way more clients. But you know how it is in business, shiny object syndrome and so on and so forth. We basically stopped doing that system a long time ago. I've tried a bunch of things since then. And looking back now, this is why I was able to sign a client, even though I didn't have like any experience in info. The client I signed was literally my first ever info client, literally. And this is what made it possible, literally. So that's very important. Even the second client we signed from Cold Email came from a very similar system. I sent her an email saying, oh, I have a quick question about our program. I don't like that system as much anymore because it's kind of space and switch and you get a lot of people, really hungry people insulting you if you do that. But she responded back and said, what question do I have? Then I sent her a Loom video just showing her that, oh, we've gotten XYZ clients results using webinars. I can see you're doing a webinar too as well. If you want us to help you get these results too as well, then respond back. And she responded back and we closed that as a client. So it's really crazy how well this works. It works insanely well. But either you use other people's results to show them the difference between what they are doing and what you're doing, or you use your own results and show them, oh, I have these clients making 200K per month right now from challenges. I can see you're running a challenge funnel right now, or you've run a challenge funnel before in the past. These are the things I'm seeing in your own challenge funnel that we did differently that got us these results. If you want to implement them into your business too as well, then respond back. And then you don't basically send the pitch directly. You compliment them first, get them to respond, tell them you have a video idea for them, get them to respond, and then now send the video to them. Works insanely well. So we signed this first client and we didn't charge a dime. It was basically rev share, purely rev share deal. We didn't charge anything upfront. So if you're just starting out, again, you need these things just to get your foot in the door and really build that credibility and so on and so forth. So we signed this client to help her manage our back end for our webinar funnel. We basically assisted her with our emails, our SMS, our post-webinar automations, pre-webinar automations, pre-webinar SMS, helping her increase a show up rate to the webinars. We gave her a webinar framework to go and use to create the webinar and so on and so forth. We did a bunch of things for her, charged her rev share, worked really well. And then she started referring a bunch of people to us. And she was the only one that we did not charge for upfront, to be fair. Like everybody after that, we charged them 1.5K at a time. That's crazy. 1.5K setup fee. And then on the back end of that was rev share. And I believe we signed about 5 clients in like 2 months. It was insane. And that really took us from 0 to about 5 to 10K per month, really. And even when you sign the clients, you're not really trying to be creative or trying to reinvent the wheel. You're literally just implementing best practices from those that are crushing it in the industry. You're implementing those best practices for them. That's what you basically want to do. This is even when you've already signed the client. So you use this to sign the clients first. And even when you sign the clients, you want to implement best practices. Now, of course, that can only take you so far. If you want to really scale clients to like 100K plus per month, you're going to need to do a lot more than just copying other people. You're going to need to work very hard to do that. But it's good enough to get you started. And we scaled this client to some decent numbers. Like we had one of the clients that we scaled to 20K per month, 10K per month, 15K per month. It's very small looking back at it now. By the time it felt very, very big, because if we make a client about 20K in 1 month, for example, she'll pay us about 2K, 3K from that. That's just from one client, really. And that felt really good. Really good at the time. So 0 to 10K per month we had one client that was really crushing it. Like we had one of our clients that was making about 70, 80K per month at some point. And just one of our clients though. The rest were like 10K, 20K per month. And then we had one client that was making about 80K per month. And that's how we went from 0 to 10K per month. 0 to 30K per month was having 2 clients that were doing really well. Like if you could get like 2 clients to crush it at the same time in the same month, you would literally hit like 30K per month plus that month. Pretty simple. 0 to 70K per month, which is our record month so far. It happened in March this year. We had 3 clients that did insane numbers all at the same time in 1 month, right? So when you start to do this and you start to charge rev share, to be fair, a lot of people only need 1 client to do really well. If you're greedy like me and you want to be an actual big company that you're making hundreds of thousands of dollars per month, then you need multiple clients that are crushing it at the same time. And it's way harder to do that, by the way. 0 to 10K per month, we had 1 really good client that was crushing it. 0 to 30K, we had 2 clients that were crushing it at the same time. 0 to 70K per month, we had 3 clients that were crushing it at the same time. Now, what we now found when we got to this point is how the clients were crushing it in the same month was through challenge funnels. And challenge funnels are very seasonal. You can do them every single month, but it is not really, should I say, sustainable to do them every single month, especially when you're running multiple different accounts at the same time. So our challenges were always like periodically, like maybe once a quarter, once every 2 months, and so on and so forth. And because of that, we can't like sustain those 3 clients crushing it together in 1 month consistently. So what we are basically working on right now is trying to create a system where clients can crush it every single month consistently and not just have like 1 month where we make a bunch of money and then things are flat again for the next month and so on and so forth. And if we do that and add 1, 2, 3 other clients, are basically going to build a $1 million business with this. And then if you haven't noticed yet, one thing we really did here was do literally everything for the clients. Like literally. And that's why, first off, we've been able to scale the clients with very few clients and they've paid us a lot of money. So when we first started, we were only helping them with emails, back-end stuff, automations, and their webinars in terms of frameworks. Now we write the webinars for them. We manage their sales team. We run their ads. We do literally everything for these clients now. And that's why they're able to pay us more. And if we have just 4 or 5 clients that are really crushing it simultaneously, we could build like $1 million plus business with this just because we do so much for the clients. And then we keep these clients for a long time too. That's another very important thing. Like I can count on one hand the amount of clients we've worked with over the past 2 years. We have clients that have worked with us for over 36 months, literally 12 months plus is the average time a client works with us for, because we do so much for them. It's hard for them to leave because we are just so intertwined in the business at this point. Even if they leave, which some clients have done, to be fair, for personal reasons, because they wanted to take the team in-house, for performance reasons too as well, just to be transparent with you. Even if they leave, it takes them a while before they get back on their feet, just because of how ingrained behind the business. And we do so much for these clients. So that's what has basically helped us generate over $800,000 online so far. If you found this video valuable, make sure you like the video, subscribe. Please subscribe. I'm really trying to grow this channel right now. So subscribe to the video, to the channel rather. And yeah, let me know if you have any clarifying questions in the comments. And thank you so much for watching the video to the end. And I can't wait to see you in the next video. Bye.